Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'd like to show you how I made this card. Now I've been fooling around with this design all day and I have made a couple of versions of it. And here's another version. And there's some things I like about both of them. I like this strip being a little narrower than this one, so I'm going to make this one with a narrower strip. I like having the border all the way around like this one, so I'm going to do that. This one I stamped all over the card using some masks so that I wouldn't overstamp. And this one I stamped more simply. I just stamped, 3 or 4 images. So I'm going to do this kind of stamping, this spacing, and this edge. And so let me show you what you need to make this card. I used a base of Elegant Eggplant that is 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. Then I have a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4, and that's for the inside of the card. I didn't show you the inside. I just put a couple of stamps on 2 of the corners here of this pretty floral stamp set. So the piece for the outside measures 5 3/8 by 3 3/4. Okay, then we also need a little piece of scrap white, Whisper White, to make our sentiment. And so let's just get started here. I'm going to fold this card base here. Okay, then what we're going to do is our work on this narrow little piece here, and you're going to need a pencil and a little ruler, and we're going to measure in, let's see, we're going to measure in 2 inches and put just the tiniest little tick mark here. And then straight up from there, I'm going to measure 1/2 inch and move that tick mark to right there. Then on the side here, I am going to measure up 1 3/4. So 1 3/4. And I'm going to put a little tick mark there. And then on this side, I measured up 2 3/8. 2 3/8 from the bottom, and we'll put a little tick mark here as well. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is just do our stamping. So I'm going to bring in some scratch paper here. And the ink that I am using, the stamp set. Let me tell you about the stamp set. I am using Heartfelt Blooms from Sale of Bration. All of the catalogs are live for the occasions and sale of Bration, starting effective today. And I want to bring this up a little closer. Boy, I've got a glare on that. So that you can see this stamp set. This is photorealism, and it's a process by which the artist took a photograph of the actual flowers, and then she converted it digitally somehow to an image that got etched onto the actual stamp. And the stamp itself looks almost completely flat, and until you ink it up, you can't see the detail very much in it. And it's such an innovative thing that Stampin' Up! I think is getting a patent on this kind of a stamp set, so we'll probably see more of these in the future. Anyway, it's absolutely gorgeous stamp, and I'm using 2 ink colors today. I'm using Wysteria Wonder. Let me bring in yet another scratch pad here, or scratch paper. And then I am also using Elegant Eggplant. And so for my stamping of my image here, let me move some of this out of the way. I'm going to take my stamp here, which is a pretty large stamp. So I'm going to take the stamp set to the stamp, and I'm going to ink this up really well. And now you might be able to see some of the detail relief on there. And even though Wysteria Wonder is very light, I wanted this very pale. So I'm going to stamp off once, and then I'm going to stamp on this image right up here in the corner. And because it's such a big stamp, you really need to make sure that you've applied pressure all over the stamp to get the image. And there we have a nice image of our flower. Now I'm going to ink this up again. And let's see, I'm going to use a wipe, I think, to kind of take some of the ink off the edges of the stamp here, because I don't want any of those kinds of errors. So I'm going to ink that up one last time. Then I'm going to stamp off once, and then I'm going to come over to my image here, and I'm going to turn my stamp another direction and stamp right here next to that image. There we go. Very nice. Now, a couple more times here. Ink up my image. Wipe off those edges. And then ink up again just a little bit to make sure I've got, might have taken a little off the edge of that stamp. Okay, and then stamp off once, and then I'm going to take this edge of the stamp, because it's pretty square, and put it right down along here. There we go. And I missed a little spot on the end, but I'm going to sponge that, so I think it'll actually be fine. And that was because the edge is curled in because of the cutting. So I'll curl the rest of this edge out a little bit so I don't have that again. All right, so I just need a little bit of my stamp right along in here, and I don't know which would be, maybe this way. Stamp off once, and then stamp onto my card surface. Okay, very good. It overstamped a little bit, but I don't think it matters much. I think it looks pretty good. All right, then I'm going to grab this piece, which is the inside of my card, and I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I don't need all of it because I'm just going to do this corner. Stamp off, and then I'm going to put an image down in this corner, and then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to ink the other end of my stamp, stamp off, and put a bit of an image up in this corner. There we go. There's the inside ready to go. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up my stamp here, and I'm going to stamp off once, and I'm going to put the image on my piece of scrap here and put it all over my piece of scrap. So there is all of my stamping with this stamp. Now I'm going to just wash that off and put it to the side. Then I have the Thinking of You stamp here mounted, and I think that's all I need this ink for. So now I'm going to switch over to my Elegant Eggplant ink, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment right here in the middle of my flower. And there's my Thinking of You. Now, what I did was I used my stitched framelit die and I cut out this piece. And as per usual, I did mine ahead of time so I wouldn't take up time in the video. And there's my piece done. So that is all of the stamping I have for this piece. So let me just put that stamp away as well. And there we go. Now I have a dauber, and first thing I'm going to do is go around the edge of this sentiment in the Elegant Eggplant. And then I'll set that aside and it will be all ready to go. There we go. Now we can go back to our main panel here, and we're going to take a pencil and a ruler, and I'm going to find my little pencil marks that I had put in earlier, and I'm going to line up my pencil mark on this end and my pencil mark down here in the bottom, and I'm going to draw a faint line, and then from that center point there up to my pencil mark on this end and draw a faint line there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is use my snips and cut straight down that pencil line. Let me get my snips on it there and cut straight down the pencil line to my point there, and then come in from the other side again straight along that pencil line down to that same point. All right, now I can move these pieces out of the way, back to my dauber, and I'm going to go around the edges of this whole piece here, both of these pieces, and get a little bit of the Elegant Eggplant along this edge. Something very pretty about the contrast of the colors, and the Elegant Eggplant and the Wysteria Wonder just complement one another perfectly. They both have more blues than reds in them, and so it's a good color combination. I tried one earlier, and I'll see if I can find it, in Perfect Plum, and I really didn't like the result. Okay, so there we go. We have our pieces all daubered. Now I'm going to take my Wink of Stella pen, and I'm just going to go along the edges now. It might not show up much on the camera here, but in real life it's absolutely gorgeous. That you just catch that hint of sparkle, and it really adds something to this card. So there we go. I've got my Wink of Stella along there. Now on this piece, let me bring back a little piece of scratch paper here. I'm going to use the Wink of Stella all over this sentiment oval. There we go. So that's that, and that's all the Wink for now. All right, so now I think I can put this ink away as well. And now we're on to assembly of this card. You know, it's not a terribly difficult card, but I love the contrast. I love the hint of the stamp being so light and the sparkle. I think it's really a pretty card. So this is cut so that there's ever so slight a border along the edge here. And I'm going to see if I can bring that up to the camera to see. I don't know if you can see that Wink of Stella along the edge. I can't. Yeah, there you go. You can see part of it. And it really does make a difference on how this appears. Now, I'm going to also put some snail on my piece here. And mostly you need to make sure you get both the point and the bottom of the V covered here. And with this one, I'm going to put this together also with ever so slight a margin. There we go. And you'll notice I'm laying that flat. And I'm doing that on purpose. I thought about putting it up on dimensionals, but I didn't like the idea of that. I'll show you the one that I made with, this is the one I made with Perfect Plum. And it just looked, instead of vintagey, and it just looked washed out to me. I don't know, the Perfect Plum didn't offer enough of a contrast. So I love the contrast of the dark purple in the Elegant Eggplant on this. Okay, so now I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on my sentiment here. There we go. Now, I did come in with Wink of Stella along this band here in the middle. And I did like the way that looked. And then that meant that I really had to put Wink of Stella along the edge of the purple in the card as well. So there we go. I've got my Wink of Stella on my purple band. And there it is. Isn't that pretty? Just as pretty as it can be, and much better than this wide band. Much, much better. Okay, so next I used some rhinestones, and what I did was I used the largest of the rhinestones. Yes, I know, I'm still using up. I had a bunch of these on hand when we switched to the other size. Okay, so I'm putting one there. I'm putting one down here in the corner. One up here. And one down here. And you know, I think I'll put one right down here at the point. Okay, there it is. That is the project for today. simple and easy, especially if you're not trying to mask. I think I liked it better also with a little bit of the white showing. So there's my 2 cards, and with its, oh, I didn't put my piece inside that has the stamped images. Okay, here's my piece, and I'm going to just put a little bit of snail on this. Thanks so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do appreciate it. And let's see. Let me get this put into place. I think I want this piece down here at the bottom. It's so exciting. Now I can show you things inside the catalog, and I can tell you what the prize draw is for this month. Let me see if I can get my hands on the catalog so I can show you. Okay, so here's the new catalog, and if you have put an order in with me over the last year, you should have already received your catalogs from me. And so I want to show you what the prize draw is for the month of January. And here it is. Here is the barn door stamp set. So this is the stamp set itself, and then here are the dies. And this barn door actually, well, here's one that's made up as a way to look at it, and people are decorating like this in their houses now. And the barn door has a mechanism and a way to use a little washer here so that the barn door slides back and forth, and it makes it look like it's sliding on that bar, and it's actually sliding through a little cutout there. And so you'll be able to move the little barn door back and forth, and it is so cute. And I think it's going to be a very, very popular set. So this is the prize draw for the month of January, and this is the bundle of $42.25 value in the catalog. So that is for January. And again, thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do appreciate it. And these are all of the versions that I made of this card, and I actually do think I like this one the best. It's got the narrower strip, it's got a little bit of the white showing, it's got a little bit of the purple border all the way around, and I definitely like it better than this perfect plum version. And so that's it for me today. Again, thanks for stopping by. I'd love to be your demonstrator if you don't already have a demonstrator, or you could join my team. One of the nice things about the first quarter and when Celebration is going on, there's extra incentives to join Stampin' Up! You get $125 worth of product for $99, plus 2 extra stamp sets of your choice, any of the live catalogs, and $40 worth of product from me, and that is almost $200 worth of product to start. And then this is the time of year that after that, when you place your first order, every time you put an order in of $50 or more, or multiples of $50, you get to pick free items from the Celebration catalog. And this is one of the stamp sets that we use today that is from that Celebration. So the only way to get this one is for free after putting in a $50 order. So I'd love to have you be on my team, or I'd love to be your demonstrator. In any case, I'll be back soon with more products and more cards. Bye!